Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Mike's DVDs and Blu-rays collection. Today guys, I want to show off something really cool. It just came out. I'm talking about the new 4K Ultra HD / Blu-ray. It's 2-disc, guys. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Great movie. Probably one of my favorite movies. It has to be one of my favorite movies. I hate trying to pick favorite movies. It's hard for me to really come up with a list. I know my good friend 101 Bronson's doing a, pick your favorite movie from the decades and stuff. And it's so hard. It's like, I don't know if I can continue. I don't know if I can do the entry because it's just so... it's so hard to pick. But anyways, guys, this is one of my favorite movies. This just came out. It's The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the 4K release. This is supposed to be the be-all and end-all. And from what I haven't opened this yet, but I have heard a lot of good stuff about it. I heard that they've really done it this time. This is the international release cut of the film. It's restored now. The colors are right. It came out previously in 2015, 2018, 2017. I don't know. Pick one of those years. But it previously came out by Kino Classics, and it looked piss yellow. It just looked horrible. And Kino thought they did a good job and stuff, and there was such a backlash with the fans and the community and just lovers of westerns and movies in general. They were outraged. So Kino did the right thing. They did right by the fan this time, and they went in and restored this. They did the 4K scanning and everything to make a high definition, HDR release, finally, of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That it has so many pros going for it. The only con I would say is it doesn't include any of the other versions, like there's so many cuts of different kinds of films out there. I could talk forever about it, but I will not. But the other cuts of the film aren't on here. The international cut is done. It's got a lot of some of the featurettes and stuff carrying over from the previous releases, and really cool. But really, this episode, that coming out has really inspired me to go back into the vaults of DAG films and find the Laserdiscs I have of the original Dollars trilogy. And leading up to this release, I started watching each one of them on Laserdisc, each night, to kind of watch it and really, take it in and stuff. Leading up to this, I know there's no comparison between 4K and the Laserdisc, but there is a connection, and the connection is for many years, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly on Laserdisc was considered one of the best releases of it because it was the most complete release, and they had the original mono soundtrack and everything. And it was the most, basically they took what this cut of the film and made the new 4K transfer. I mean, basically, these are related, these prints, these versions, if you will, are somewhat related. I mean, I don't go into details and everything, but this is one of my most favorite editions of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I've had this since I was a young teenager of maybe 14, 15, and this movie just blew me away when I got this on Laserdisc and played it for the first time. I got to see it in letterbox, which was really different back then, And the sound was so good. This sounds so good today still. I mean, it is actually kind of loud. I have to turn down the music score to it because it is good and clear and loud. When I was watching it late at night in the bedroom, not to wake the house up, it was compared to other releases. But yeah, I've loved this edition since I was a teenager. I had previously seen it a few times on TV, and I had taped it. I believe I dubbed it from VHS, like a rental tape, and I made a copy of it, and it was panned and scanned and stuff. But man, I love this movie. And then when I was finally able to get it, I got it from Columbia House of all places, and that was it. I mean, this was one of my favorite releases, one of my favorite discs, Laserdiscs, that is. Excuse me. So that got me, thinking, I was like, I'm going to rewatch all of them and stuff. And this is so good. I mean, this movie just still stands up to this day. No matter how many times you've seen it, it's just, I don't know. I mean, it's a spaghetti western. At the time, it wasn't, it wasn't supposed to be a great western. It wasn't supposed to be anything to compete with Hollywood. It wasn't supposed to be anything good. It was supposed to be just a cheap movie, dubbing, all this stuff. But man, this movie has outlived Hollywood classics by far. I mean, this movie is just, what can I say about it? The good, the bad, and the ugly. It's just, it's its own thing, its own life force. But there was 2 other movies leading up to that. So I guess I'll go backwards since I started with the good, the bad, and the ugly. The other release is For a Few Dollars More. Now this is similar to that one. It's a gatefold and everything. And man, rewatching For a Few Dollars More again, because I mean, I watched it a few years ago when it came on Blu-ray again from Kino, and watched it and stuff, and enjoyed it, loved it. But man, watching it again on Laserdisc for some reason just brought out something of the movie. It just brought something out of it. It was really good. It just, I forgot I was watching a Laserdisc. It's supposed to be bad quality and stuff. So it's also lived up to its name. It's Sergio Leone was a genius, and again, these movies weren't supposed to be classics. They weren't supposed to be, they were just these cheap movies supposedly, But Sergio Leone slowly, worked his way up to The Good and Bad, the Ugly, which was a big budget, big scale movie. But on this one, the cast, excuse me, my allergies. This movie stars Clint Eastwood, of course, as the man with no name. Lee Van Cleef makes his first appearance as Colonel Mortimer. It's got Gian Maria Volonté, who plays, what's his name? Indio. He plays Indio. And let's see, Klaus Kinski plays the Hunchback, I believe his name is. And it's got a great cast. Mario Braga, Luis Rodriguez. Great score by Ennio Morricone, which is, different from the Good and Bad and the Ugly score, but it has its own little thing. It's his own little world. It's not just part 2, And then, of course, guys, this was actually one I got recently. I never had the first Fistful of Dollars for some reason. I've had those 2 for ages, and for some reason I just never got Fistful. I guess I don't know. I had a good VHS tape of it, I guess, and I don't know. It didn't make any sense, and I finally got it on DVD when it came out in the early 2000s, and then got the Blu-ray and everything. But this is the Fistful of Dollars, and I got this recently Found it on eBay, really super good price, and I thought, well, I'll go ahead and get it so I can have the trilogy on Laserdisc. So, great movie. It was the beginning. Clint Eastwood walked on screen, and his legend was born for the rest of his life. He was, he was a star. It stars Marianne Koch, John Wills, W. Lushki, blah, 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 blah. Bunch of guys. Directed by Sergio Leone. Produced by Harry Colombo. Great release. Fistful of Dollars, where it all began. What can I say? I mean, this trilogy is probably my favorite trilogy. I mean, trilogies are very synonymous nowadays. Every studio produces a movie that they want to make a trilogy out of it. They want to make they want to market it as something, a group. So when it comes on home video and stuff, it can be the big box set because you got to have all of them. But this is my favorite trilogy, the Man with No Name trilogy. So there you go, guys. So I highly recommend you go out and get that 4K release right now while it's on sale. And if you're lucky, you can get this slip cover. I don't believe it's going to be available on all releases. It's only for so many thousand copies got it, and I pre-ordered a long time ago for this, so I got the slip cover. So go out there and get it. It's got the Blu-ray. If you don't have a 4K player, it's got the Blu-ray with the new print on it and everything. I don't have a 4K player yet. But I can watch the Blu-ray. Maybe for Christmas I'll get a 4K player. But in the meantime, I will watch the Blu-ray of this. And I will watch the Blu-ray of my Laserdisc because I love both of them. So there you go, guys. The Man with No Name trilogy. Laserdisc and Good, the Bad, the Ugly, the 4K. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have any comments about Laserdisc and that trilogy and the sound qualities and all the goodness that series is on Laserdisc, let me know. Let me know in comments. Let me know what your favorite one was and everything. So subscribe to my channel also, guys. If you haven't subscribed, you'll see episodes like this in the future, and hit that bell and you'll be notified when I release a new episode, so you'll be one of the first people to see it. And also, guys, hit that like button if you really enjoyed this episode. And that's about it, guys. I will see you again in another episode, but first I want to show you my hat. Oh, not this hat, sorry. I'll show you my hat in another episode. It's in a different episode. So until next time, guys, I'm Mike, and I say arrivederci, sayonara, goodbye, guys.